Is what it is.
Come on, people, we're back again. It's 12th Man, we're back, and I've got a brilliant guest with me. It's Friday, it's 1 o'clock lunchtime, which means that I've got my guy DG on, Deluded Guna, in the house. Bruv, I've just said to you off air that I wish we could announce something that is more than just Kepa, but we are now into the 4th of July and there's still no signings, bruv. What are you telling me?
Still no signings, but Tomiyasu's contract's been cancelled. I'm sure we'll get into everything. Love for having me, Dan, man. It's always a pleasure. Like you said, 1 p.m.'s Fridays, alternating between two channels. We're there, man. I'm sure we're gonna get into everything, man. It's always a pleasure. Big up the chat.
Come on,
Smash the likes.
Pleasure's mine, bro. Pleasure's mine. Make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you smash subscribe. Make sure you're getting DG up to his next target as well. Deluded Guna, he's always putting out content. In fact, we're going to redirect you there after this because he's got Graham on, which is a great guest. So stay in the house because, it's going to be a couple of hours of football, a couple of hours of Arsenal. And there is actually a lot of talk, but not much action. So let's go through the talk, bro.
You said it there.
Look, hit the likes, people. Make sure you hit subscribe. I'm going to put the logo back up because obviously there is the match bingo that we need to get you guys for. The QR code is there now, top right. Make sure you scan that or click on the link in the description and get match bingo downloaded. The Women's Euros is now on. You can play that as well as the Club World Cup when that comes back. So please make sure that you have match bingo downloaded. Credit £5 and then you can start playing. It gives you the automatic bingo cards and it ticks it off for you automatically. We've had quite a few winners, and at the moment we've got Liverpool in the leaders board, Arsenal in second. And do you know what, DG? Why can't Arsenal be ahead of second, man? Second again, LA. Do you know what I mean? We play match.
It's written in the stars, man.
So Gooners, come on, we got Liverpool to chase, man. I've only need 2 more Gooners to win. And then we can actually finally overtake Liverpool in my little.
Come on, do that, people, man.
Man. So come on, man. Let's get a match bingo on. We've got a lot of winners, and it's quite easy to win on there. So make sure you get that scanned and click on the link in the description. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to all the mods. We've got Ryan in the house, Sophie in the house. Big up to all of you guys that are here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and let those people subscribe to DG as well. Let's go through the rumor mill as it come to fruition today, because there's been quite a lot of this happening over the last 24 hours, DG, to be fair. And the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was, of course, Noni Madueke, right? It's come out today suggesting that Arsenal are among several clubs interested in signing him. Chelsea are thought to value him at 50 million. That price could be open to negotiation. Now, there's a lot of talk about this one. It's not just this source. There's quite a few sources from Romano and Ornstein suggesting that he's one of the names on the list. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the player and if you think he'd be a good signing for Arsenal, because I think everybody knows my thoughts, bruv.
You know what? Let me be kind to him. I guess I like his attitude because I see some players that have all the ability in the world. They don't necessarily believe in themselves. Obviously, he's got some level of ability. He's playing for Chelsea, came through at PSV, plays for his country. So he has got ability and things of that ilk. He can provide competition for Saka off the right. He can play off the left. He is English and all of that jazz. But Dan, for me, I'm not with it, man. Maybe I'm just a fan. I'm just not with it. It just sends out the wrong message to me, because if we were to sign Madueke, I'm sure we'll get onto all these Ezes and Rodrigos and this one and that one. That would tell me that we've tried to go through all of those things and it hasn't happened. Where I'm a bit nervous or anything of that kind of ilk, Dan, is the sense that because we've been shopping in Chelsea's bins, it could happen, really and truly. Like, it could happen. 50 million, surely we can spend resources elsewhere. I mean, he's not going to play off the right-hand side for Saka too much. I don't know if he's going to be a genuine long-term option. It just feels like the easy signing, better yet, to make, especially because he's got 1 foot out the door. He is linked with a bunch of other clubs, and I do guess, Berta's job is to be able to pivot, and we hear about getting deals done at multiple times, but for me, I'm not on it, man. I can't really get behind it. If he signs for Arsenal, of course, we'll all support him. But no, I don't know. It's a no from me in many aspects. I don't know. I guess people sit there and say, if Arteta wants him and this and that, then fair play. And there's been so many rumors. There is some level of legs to it, really. But I'm not behind it, Dan, man. I'm not behind it.
I'm not behind it. I'm not buying it. I don't want him. I think he's a man average player. And I would actually prefer Ethan Nwaneri to back up Saka. I would.
Exactly.
He actually scored more goals than Madueke last season with less game time. I think he's a higher ceiling potential. I think he's one of our own that you want to look after. Max Dowman's coming through as well. People are talking about him getting minutes. I'd rather go with the young kids than go and spend 50 million on Noni Madueke. Now, don't get me wrong. If this is the guy that Arteta wants, on your head be it, £50 million, make sure that 50 million is on top of who you're bringing in on the left, attacking mid and striker. Don't let him take away the position of an Eze or a Rodrygo potential or a Gyökeres potential. This would be a waste of money if
Make
we
sure you
were
win a trophy regardless as well.
and how much would you actually say you'd be like, meh, all right then? Because like 50, 40, 30 for me, no. If it's like
Exactly.
lower than that and you really want him and it's not going to affect other business, go for it if you really think he's the guy. I don't, but I hope to be proven wrong. Where are you at in terms of price for him, man? I think it's a mad money.
Dan, you said it there. Like, if it didn't affect, these Rodrygo shouts and Gyökeres and this one and that one, and you really wanted to do it, and we've done the bulk of the business, then great. I genuinely think because he's on, the good side of 20, he is an England international. He is playing for Chelsea. He's probably going to be on like 100 grand a week. Probably looking at a 50 million kind of transfer fee. It seems like 50 million is the new 20. So I do think you're looking at a significant outlay, bro. It don't make sense. It don't, for the fees that's being projected in the media or like the articles that we're going to go over / have gone over. Nah, Dad, man, I struggle to find how this makes sense. I really do. I
I
really do.
agree.
And you said with Wanyeri as well, bro, like you'd rather him just get the minutes off the right hand side.
Facts. I would. And I think that he did well last season for Arsenal. I think he deserved more minutes, if I'm honest with you, in the start and back end of the season. And Ethan, I think, has got unbelievable potential. Madueke, look, I'm not saying he's a scrub or a bad player. I'm just saying that I don't think it's a player that was necessary when you have Ethan there already that could do a better job, if not the same job, for less money. I just think it would be
Exactly.
a real bad way to spend £50 million or some of that. And I wanted to read out Romano's quote because he said on his YouTube channel that Arsenal remain in contact with Madueke's camp. To give you my feeling, when people close to the player continue to meet the club, it means the player could be open to a potential switch. It doesn't mean that Madueke is going to Arsenal. It just means he's opened the door to a potential move to Arsenal. Now it depends what Arsenal want to do. And at the moment, there's no official bid that's gone in. Now, some people are saying that we've spoken to the camp and looked at personal terms. That doesn't mean that you're going to get the player. It means that you're trying to psych out whether he's actually interested in coming to Arsenal. Now, from a report I saw last week, it suggested that he had concerns over his game time because of Bukayo Saka. Now, he doesn't really get that much of a game time at Chelsea because of the likes of Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, etc. I just don't know if this is actually a good move for Madueke, if I'm honest with you, either. Like, for me, he's at an age where he needs to play football, and I would just believe maybe there's better teams out there for him. That maybe it is a Newcastle. I know they're linked with Elanga. Maybe you go towards the level of a West Ham and say, look, I stay in London, but I'll try and see what they're saying. Fulham, Brentford. These are the sort of teams I think Madueke should be going to try and get first team football and keep himself in a place for getting called up for the England squad, bruv.
You said it there exactly. Like, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know how much Elanga looks to be going to Newcastle if they're really interested in him, but that would make more sense. Big up Murphy for Newcastle because he did well. But would you rather compete with the existing options? Probably Cole Palmer, maybe that Astalvio guy at Chelsea. Saka is playing ahead of you week in, week out, and we both said we'd rather Wanyeri. Would you rather fight them two for a spot, or with the greatest of respect, Murphy, or as you said, with the bunch of clubs? It just doesn't make sense. Beyond the obvious that we are fighting for a title, he would stay in London, you would get good wages. There are some of your international teammates, and we are a big club to play for, and things of that. It don't really make sense for all parties. For me, that would just tell me that every other option we've explored in terms of a wide edition, it's gone left.
It has. And look, I'm going to bring in the super chat from Lawrence because I think he brings up a good point. He's getting tired of the Chelsea sloppy seconds being linked with us. What next? Do we start playing in the blue kit and play our home games at Stamford Bridge? Unfortunately, there has been 7 seasons where 6 of them we've bought a Chelsea player, DG. And it dates right the way back from Willian, where Arteta started, right the way through now to, of course, Kepa. Every year, Sterling's, Havertz, Jorginho's, even before Mikel Arteta's time, David Luiz, Petr Cech, Lasana Diarra, Josip Benayoun, we seem to be quite happy to take the players that Chelsea do not want. And if Noni Madueke was to come, it would be another one. Now, I've got no problem with Arsenal going in for Lavia, Caicedo or Palmer. But please don't give me
They're
a
good players.
Robert Sanchez, man. Don't give me a Sanchez or a Tosin or a, Madueke, Nicholas Jackson. I don't want any of these guys. If they're not good enough for Chelsea, what makes them believe they're good enough for Arsenal? And, somebody made a good comment here about Who was it? Johnny said it's not rocket science. Berta's lining up players for varying scenarios. Notice that none of the players he's talking to have a heavy push from other teams. Let him cook. Now, I'm happy to let Berta cook,
Fair
but
play.
if this is one of the names that he wants, I'm worried. Is this an Arteta signing for you, or is it an Andrea Berta signing? Because this is the question nobody can tell them to ask me. Are they working together? Is there one getting the players? Someone coming through the door? Who do you give the thanks to or the criticism to? Because before it was Edu and Garlic. Is it now Berta on Garlic, or is it now Berta on his own? Is it Berta and Arteta?
It's everyone, Dan, man, because obviously we're fans. We don't know what's going on in the boardroom. We can speculate, and if you believe Arteta is the best thing since sliced bread, it's always going to be Arteta. It's always, when it goes well, it's all Arteta. When it goes left, it's everyone but Arteta. So I'm at the point, the club tell us about collaboration and collectiveness and things of that ilk. They tell us about the process, whoever identifies in there's meetings. So you're all kind of involved. And that point that you've had on screen, I mean, everyone agrees with that. That's why I'd say for me, it would tell me that things have gone left, because I don't think Madueke is the first choice. I don't know how much it all filters, but the Rodrygos and the Ezes and all these guys that can play out wide, if those things don't happen, then I could see the Madueke thing. We know how Chelsea operate. The guy's probably got a leg out of the club. For all the teams linked with him, we are second. We're above his current club at this moment. It would make sense to be up with that logic for him, but nah, man, it just doesn't make sense. But you'd imagine if he signs for Arsenal, there's got to be some degree of Arteta giving it the go-ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta said with his own words, quotes in interviews, that he has the final say on every transfer at the club. So Andrea Berta is going to, I imagine, identify a player and put him in front of Arteta, and he's going to say yay or nay. And look, I see something that Curtis said the other day where he was speaking to an Atletico Madrid fan, and it was really interesting what he said. I think he might have said it on his channel on AFTV. That the Atletico Madrid fans loved Berta and they thought they were great. But they said if there was any downside to him, it was the confusion of how many players per position we were linked with. So if you want a striker, there's going to be 6 that he'll go and talk to. You want a winger, there's going to be 6 that he goes and talks to. How do you feel about that? Because on the one hand, I'm like, okay, you've got your plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's cool. But is that a bit too confusing? And do the players then look at that thinking, do they actually want me, or do they want the other 4 players that he's linked with? Because I want to be wanted at this club, and it looks like they want 5 wingers, not just me. Do you see where I'm at?
It's business, isn't it? Like, it's business, never personal. That I don't have a problem with, because we could, if we genuinely want you, I do think Berta and Arteta will convey that. I think these players would have to remove, based on what you said, their ego and see that this is a business. We could want you, you might not necessarily want us. You might get a negative feeling. I like that because it's a different world from Edu, in it, where it seemed like we focused on one guy. If that guy comes, then obviously it's all great. If it goes left, we're in issues. So I do like that, because I have been calling for that. As much as Arsenal, we haven't been used to some basic competencies. I think for us, we need that kind of stuff. If it goes left, we can move for this target. We might get a young emerging talent. We might try and go for a household name. I just don't want to be sat here twiddling our thumbs when the season started and we're still talking about strikers and wingers and things of that ilk. So I don't have a problem with that with Berta. Of course, it looks like muddied waters when you see yourselves linked with every name, and I'm sure you've done a bunch of content. 1 minute it's Gyökeres, then it's Sesko. But I think everyone's aware what's being reported via the journalists and in the media and what's actually going on in the world of football could be different realities. So I'm all for that. I'm all for that, because then when I look at the signings that actually have come through the door at Atletico, for all the guys they've been linked with, the hits, without being an Atletico fan, the hits to miss ratio is a lot better, and we need to do that, especially where the attacking sign is. Like, Berta's attacking signing CV is a lot better than what we had. Even when it came back to selling Griezmann, let alone him returning. When they got Luis Suarez when he was considered damaged goods, I know they got João Felix, and I'm not saying he's a messiah and everything works, but personally, Dan, I think we need that. I think we need that.
Look, I've got to be honest. I like what Berta brings to Arsenal with experience. At the moment, I need to see a lot more, because we've literally brought one backup goalkeeper in through the door, right? It's early days. Let's hope we go mad in the coming weeks. There's a poll out there, people. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We've got 850 of you in here and over that now. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We've got a poll going on. Noni Madueke to Arsenal, yes or no? 30% of you want him. 70% of you say no. Let me ask you, before we move off from this, DG, if we are to get him, let's just say it happens, do you really think we're getting a right winger, a left winger, an attacking midfielder, and a striker, all front 4? I don't know if I see that happening, bro. So if Madueke's coming in, I truly believe that if reports are believed to be kind of believed, I think our summer could end up being Noni Madueke, Eze, and Sesko. And that ain't exciting for me, bruv.
I mean, it's not. It's definitely not exciting where you go with what Gyökeres is doing, and obviously you look at Rodrygo's numbers. I don't even know if free attackers come through. I would love that. I do like the fact that I'm sure we'll get into it, but that we're linked with Eze anyways. Me and you both waffle about him and say I would be a great player for us. I think what entices me a lot more than Eze in himself is that again, David Ornstein has said, and all them guys have said, Eze is kind of irrelevant to what we're doing in the left wing and striker. So that's free attackers, in it. I personally, if I had to make an educated guess, I expect, and I know expectations lead to disappointments, but I'd imagine a minimum of 2 attackers, whether that's a striker in the left wing or whatever. So I think those 2. I think 3 is wishful thinking. I think 4 is even more wishful thinking, Dan, man. I don't know. I can't see 4 on top of Zubamendi coming in, maybe another defender in addition to the Valencia lad. And all assuming that these are the only positions Arsenal and Mikel Arteta want to address. We don't know. We didn't expect to wake up today and see Tomiyasu's deal ripped up or Partey not signing a new deal. So one thing I'm learning is expect the unexpected slightly, man.
Look, it could be like people are saying that we're looking at a number of players because we believe that there's a couple that could potentially go fall through. So, for example, if Rodrygo's the guy that we're looking at, let's say, as a number 1 target, and then we have Madueke and Eze that are both coming through the door, that could be if Rodrygo was to fall through. Now, personally, I don't want Madueke. I would love Eze, though. So, look, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days. I will say that. The next bit of news I wanted to move to was, of course, the news that's broke today around Tomiyasu. The world champion, hide and seek champion, has been found, but we've terminated his contract, bruv. Look, jokes aside, I genuinely feel a little bit sorry for Tomiyasu, right? It's not his fault. Yeah, a lot of people believe, like, oh my God, it's his fault. It's not his fault. The guy's been injured, just like it wasn't Diaby's fault, just like it wasn't Rosicky and Wilshere's and Vermaelen's and Van Persie's and all these guys that seem to get injured at Arsenal regularly in the last decade or two. Tomiyasu going, it's been mutually terminated. He just wasn't fit enough, and it wasn't going to be a season that panned out the way that he planned. And then now they've decided to actually go and say, do you know what? What's best for everyone here is that you mutually terminate your contract and you go find another club and try and revive your career. Obviously, he's been chatting to on Instagram as well. The club have said, unfortunately, injuries have limited Tommy's time on the pitch in the past 2 seasons. It's therefore mutually agreed to end his contract in order for him to start a new chapter in his career. He's put a post out saying that after 4 unforgettable years, the time has come for me to say goodbye to this incredible club. Obviously, I've got many things to say, but the thing that I want to tell you guys the most is just thank you for the love you guys gave me. I was so happy to be here with my teammates, Mikel, the coaching staff, supporting staff, and everyone who was around me in the club. From my first day at the Emirates to every amount wearing the red and white, it has truly been an honor to represent this badge. To the supporters, thank you for the love you've been giving me on and off the pitch. I'll never forget it, and it will stay with me forever. To the teammates, I'm so happy that we've shared many memories with you guys. I know how good you guys are, not only as players, but as people. I'm looking forward to seeing each of you guys on the pitch soon. It's time for a new chapter, but I'm forever proud to have been a gunner. Once a gunner, always a gunner. All the best, Tommy. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I actually like this because I feel like it's the best for all parties. How do you see this one, bro?
It's a weird one because on one hand, you know, I'm a hypocrite. I say we need to be ruthless, not rely on sentiment. But I love Tomiyasu. Like, I think he would have been a good option had he have been fit and all of those kind of things. But for as much as I can sing his defensive praises, and he's clearly a nice guy and things of that ilk, the best ability you can have is being available, in which he hasn't done. I think he's played since 2021, 70, 80 appearances, so he hasn't made 100 appearances. Unfortunately, when you say Tomiyasu, word association, everyone thinks, you know, he's made of glass. Unfortunately, like you said, it's not his fault. It's just one of those things. His role was always going to be diminished because since he's been gone, we're bringing in more additions and we're not being able to bet on him. It's a bit different to what Arsenal have done in that we don't normally, like, because I think he's still out for five months or something of that ilk. We don't normally rip up contracts under that ilk, but this tells me, do you know what? We might be able to save money. It makes me look at it a bit weird in a sense that obviously he's kind of what I just said. He's injured. He's not a negative influence. Arteta likes him. So what's really tipped the balance in that regards? Did something Tomiyasu wanted? Was it something internally Arsenal wanted? Did Arteta want it, or his hands are tied, essentially? I feel sorry for him, but I wish him all the best. The one thing I would say is, isolated to this one, it's not really a thing, but I don't really want to get into that scenario of ripping up contracts. I know the man can't stay fit, and he's not fit, but at the end of the day, he's 26 years of age. I know he's linked with Saudi, but I could see him rocking up in Italy. But wish him all the best, Dan, really. But like you said, I can't call for the club to be ruthless, and then when they actually do it, I'm moving mad. So it needed to happen. It's a shame, but you just look at last season. He played 6 minutes of Premier League football. Needs to go.
Look, he joins Party now,
Yeah,
leaving
another
along
one.
with, of course, Sterling and Neto and the guys that have come to an end of their loans or contracts. Need some players then, DG, don't we, coming in? Because if Party's
Facts.
gone and Tomiyasu's gone, when they're both fit, I think they're excellent for us. Definitely in the squad, maybe some would say in the starting 11, particularly Party. So I do think that we need to look at who's coming in. And I know there's rumours of Zubamendi and Norgard and Mosquera. So, of course, we're looking towards those positions to replace and upgrade on what is being gone. But the next bit of news that broke that's kind of got people talking that I didn't see coming was the appointment of Gabriel Heinze as a coach. Now, we understand and appreciate that Carlos Cuesta has gone to Parma, and we wish him all the best of luck. I didn't know who was going to come in or if anyone was going to come in. People were kind of praying that it was a Santi Cazorla type, but he's, of course, still playing for Oviedo. Gabriel Heinze will join up with Arteta's coaching staff for the training camp in Spain next week. What do you make of this, bruv?
Must another defender in it, really, someone that can play centre half and left back. Music to Arteta's ears. Just from doing a quick YouTube search, he seems experienced based on like his coaching so far. Seems very passionate. I think we was linked with him in 2024, so maybe this is just a coincidence that Carlos Cuesta's happened to leave and an opportunity's become available. Maybe we kind of knew that. I'm happy it's been sorted out very quickly, if I'm honest, because you know I know it's not the same, but it took a while to replace Berta, so it's like one out, one kind of in. The quicker you get in, the quicker you can tie into life. So I'm all for it, man. I'm keen to see how we can help. Maybe he provides a different perspective and new experiences. Like he's, you know, you're seeing Berta come in, he's not been at the club before. This guy come in, he's not been at the club before. And we've been calling to try something different. Maybe he can spark some sort of inspiration externally in Arteta's thinking. Because as a club, we have been quite rigid, really, and we need to get out of that if we want to get over the line. So bring him in it.
Yeah, look, he's been over in America and Argentina, learning what he's needed to in terms of his coaching. I think that this one is one that, you know, he's clearly identified Mikel as someone who he wants to bring in. Hopefully on the same wavelength. I see a picture of them the other day when we beat Real Madrid. They were having a chat. So I think this one's been in the pipeline for quite some time. And I don't really know how I feel about this, to be honest. It's another member of the coaching staff, one in, one out. I don't know that there's anyone in particular that I would like Arteta to bring in. I'm not really about bringing ex-players back to clubs. I don't really like that. A lot of people do, because I think there's always going to be one way it ends, and it's always going to be horrendously bad, which is why I don't ever want Thierry Henry as manager of Arsenal or Bergkamp as assistant manager or whatever. I personally don't mind them coming in as ambassadors, but I don't really like ex-players coming as anything more than that, because I think there could be a chance for them to potentially ruin legacies. And I know Arteta didn't really have a legacy at Arsenal other than winning a couple of FA Cups, but when you look at what he could end up doing, if it goes wrong for him, yeah, it ain't going to go down well. But Gabriel Heinze is coming in. Let's see what happens. I don't think there's going to be any doubt. I mean, what sort of position is he going to take? Is it still going to be Albert and kind of Nicolas Jova? And then where's Heinze going to kind of be, do you think? Is he going to just be one of the many? Is there going to be an order of hierarchy? Is he going to be the assistant manager of Arsenal? Like, how do you recognize this, bro?
I don't think he'll be assistant. I think he'll probably go into a role similar to Carlos Cuesta, at least at this moment. You never know because he is experienced, but I just imagine it's more just an extension of the coaching staff rather than an assistant, Dan, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, man. It's an interesting one. And sure, a lot of Arsenal fans will be wondering how it's going with that appointment. Look, let's talk about the striker, because if I'm honest with you, one day it's a Sesko day, next day it's a Gyökeres day, then it goes back to Sesko. Today it looks
Swings
like
and
it's
roundabouts,
a Gyökeres day,
man.
if I'm honest. Yeah, the roundabout indeed, bro. Gyökeres day today. Apparently, a lot of talk around Gyökeres representatives being in Portugal for showdown talks. There's a growing optimism from his side and from Arsenal that they can get this over the line. Gyökeres is the clear favourite now to make that move to Arsenal. No deal is done until it's done, but there's growing optimism that Arsenal are finally going to get Gyökeres as their new number 9. That's the reports this morning. It could change later, this afternoon or tomorrow. I'm kind of bored of this saga, DG. I can't lie to you, bruv. I'm not excited, and it's going to get to a stage where whoever signs, I'm not going to be excited by it, even if it is Gyökeres now, because I'm so done with it. You know, it's like the only thing that would excite me now is if I wake up and Isak's in an Arsenal shirt or somebody like that, you know, because one of these two is going to come in. I really thought it was going to be Sesko. It looks like it's going to be Gyökeres. Then it looked like it was going to be Sesko. Now it looks like they're demanding too much and we might turn our attention to Gyökeres. It's just about finding a fee, wages, etc. Who do you want? What do you think will happen? If I had to put, ask you to put money on it, what are you saying?
I still think Sesko, man. I just feel it just feels like a lot of the groundwork's been done. I know reports that are coming out today and saying, Jason Ito and Edu did a lot of the groundwork. Them going means that the agent who apparently of Sesko, who was apparently at the Newcastle game at the end of the season, means that's kind of put a spanner in the works, if you like. I don't know how much I believe that, and I know it's very different, but those two men left, and we led to believe that with Zubamendi they did the groundwork. Berta's coming, we're led to believe the Zubamendi thing's still getting over the line. I think with the Leipzig stuff, it just feels like a game of chicken. It seems like, based on what we've read in the last 24 hours, that 70 odd million is the ballpark kind of figure we're trying to play around with, either for Sesko or Gyökeres. If I still had to bet money, I would say Sesko. As you said at the beginning, bro, it's like 1 minute is Sesko, then it's Gyökeres, then it's Gyökeres, then it's Sesko. I actually think Sesko fits our system. I like what he could be. I actually think he could be a good player. That being said, obviously, we want to get over the line now. We want to win now mode. I understand, all the talking points about the Portuguese league and all of that kind of stuff, but I just feel Gyökeres is ready right now. What you see is what you get. He's 27. He's ready to deliver. He's returning back to these shores, at least held in bigger regards in the wider footballing community than when he left from Coventry. So I want him. And to be fair with you, again, rumors are rumors, but you're hearing the guy's leaving his girlfriend. He's doing all this stuff to kind of get the move. If he'll do that to get a move to Arsenal Football Club, what the hell is he going to do on the pitch to score goals? I kind of want it. And I just feel, as a club, as much as I understand, no, my bad. As much as I understand, Dan, like the resale value and stars of tomorrow and all of this, I think we get into that trap of always kind of thinking about tomorrow, and we never seize the present. And I think Gyökeres could do that. People would say, what if Gyökeres goes wrong? Sesko and Gyökeres could both bang. They could both flop. If they flop, you go again. RIP Diogo Jota on the topic of Liverpool, but Darwin Núñez, they bought him, big reputation, thought he was going to do X, Y, Z. He didn't. They're now linked with a striker and they found solutions. It doesn't matter how much homework we do. Both could bang, both might not bang. And I think because of the level of impatience with fans, I feel sorry for a lot of the signings, because we're in win now mode, because we want to see the window work. Whether it's Sesko or Gyökeres, especially Gyökeres with his reputation, people want to see you hit the ground running immediately. We're still linked with Ollie Watkins as kind of the third choice option. But I think every Arsenal fan, including myself, are at that point now where you can have your preference. You might want Sesko, you might want Gyökeres, but you just want a striker through the door now and then talk about them, because it's long now. It's been the best part of a month, where every day presents something. I still think Leipzig will get it done. I still think Arsenal and Leipzig will get it done for Sesko. I think with Sporting, I think Gyökeres wants to move and go somewhere. I think Arsenal and other clubs want in for Gyökeres, but I just think Sporting Lisbon and Gyökeres' agent, they're just not seeing eye to eye, and it's only costing Gyökeres.
Look, I got to be honest, it's tiring, bro. It's tiring. Back and forward, Sesko, Gyökeres. The other thing that's tiring is trying to ask you guys to hit like and subscribe. Come on, people. There's 1.2k in there, and we've only got 183 likes. We've got a few more than that now. Let's get that up to 1,000 likes a show, man. At the moment, we're hitting 1,000 likes a show. Let's not let us down. Keep doing it.
Come on, smash the likes, man.
Yeah, look, Jay says DG sounds bored of it. You're not alone, bro.
I am, man. It's boring now, man. What else are we like? What else can we say? Like Gyökeres, we're well aware of all the pros and cons. Sesko, the pros and cons. Every journalist has added their own perspective. Just get one through the door now, man. It's that simple now. Just get one through the door. We talk about the striker next time when they're actually here. Like, just get the number 9 in for pre-season. Rodrygo, and I know we're getting onto it. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but Rodrygo's the only one in an ideal world I want to see kind of dragging, if that makes sense, Dan.
Yeah. Facts, bro. Facts. And look, it makes me laugh the way Arsenal fans get excited. We're so starved of it all at the moment that people are actually following them on Instagram. Oh, they're following this guard dog company. Oh, they're following Arsenal. Oh, he's dumped his girl and he's now Portugal model is gone because he's dedicated to Arsenal. I'm like, what is happening here, man? Just either get the guy or move on. And the Sesko deal sounds like it's coming to a little bit of a stumbling block because Leipzig aren't playing ball. They're wanting 90 million or something mad like that. His wage demands are a little bit more than Gyökeres, and I think as well he's also looking at kind of release clauses that if he sees Arsenal as a bit more of a stepping stone. Look, I've got to be honest. I want Gyökeres and I don't want Sesko, but I kind of want a striker now, DG. I'm going to get to a stage where even my mentality is going to be tested. I'm going to be like, get the best. I just need a striker. And not that I want Ollie Watkins or Mateta, but if we ain't getting anybody, we might have to go down that road soon because I'm getting really frustrated with this. I need to see someone coming in soon. Got 10 days until the preseason talk's all about. let's get things moving now, because people that said we don't need to get him in on the 1st of June, we don't need to get him in on the 1st of July. We've got ages. Now it's getting close to preseason. I need them settled and I need them getting gelled in with the team, and that striker needs to be coming through the door. Now, there's a lot of reports suggesting that Gyökeres and Arsenal is definitely the favourite now. There's a lot of suggestions that we've made headway with a potential move in the recent days. Sammy Mockbell is saying that it's looking like we've made headway with a potential move for Gyökeres in the recent days. Romano has suggested that Arsenal and Sporting are looking at a fee now for Gyökeres. So let's make that happen. I need to see this now. I don't want to be talking about Sesko tomorrow, Gyökeres the day after, and then Sesko the day after. Let's just get the guy that we want. There's a lot of talk from Romano saying that Arsenal are closely monitoring the situation of Gyökeres. They await a meeting between Gyökeres' agent and Sporting to determine the final price. So it is now about price. They must have agreed personal terms. They must know with both Sesko and Gyökeres what they're asking for, that they can afford it. And now it's just about a price. And to be honest with you, bruv, I do not care if the striker costs 60 or 80. If they want 80, just pay 80 if that's the guy you want. This is the most important position for us, DG, man.
You're right, man. And at some point, it's going to have to go from a game of chicken, which obviously, Arsenal want to pay a bit less. Naturally, that's how business works, and they want a bit more. At some point, you're going to have to either put up the front up the cash or find alternatives. I mean, based on the links we're led to believe, Isak is the impossible dream, and we'd love for it to turn into a reality, but it's not going to happen. Give or take, depending on what article is being written by who, Gyökeres or Sesko is seen as the favourite, but they're seen as the first two options. And then Ollie Watkins is the third guy. I think Sammy Mockbell even said in the last few days, we've spoken about Gyökeres and Watkins, and we've spoken to their advisors. Just get the player in, because you made a great point. You want them in for pre-season. You want them in early. I think the signings that really worked for us in the last 2-3 years generally have been the ones we've got in early. They've gelled. They've got up to speed with the tactics. And for me, the only one I want to see drag is Rodrygo and probably outgoings. I'm not expecting me to wake up this week and we've got everyone, but get a move on, because before you know it, you blink and next thing you know, we're coming back over from Asia to England because pre-season's done. Then you got the Emirates Cup and then it's showtime, really. So I still remain confident that we'll get some sort of striker in before pre-season starts, but every day that's ticking, that's looking less and less likely, man.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. There's something in the back of my mind that tells me that it's not going to be Gyökeres, and I so badly want it to be. Lastly, on the striker, Ben Jacobs was on the Highbury squad the other day. Big up to Sophie every time. And apparently the following was said on that show. You go check that out. I think that was yesterday that he was on there. Said it's Sesko, Gyökeres, who knows? Maybe it's Ollie Watkins. They're all being leveraged against each other. Arsenal want to do one thing, and that's sign either Gyökeres or Sesko at 70 million euros. Berta will be saying if we don't get Gyökeres, we'll go for Sesko. And if we don't get Sesko, we'll go for Gyökeres. I bet you neither Leipzig nor Sporting know the true reality. If neither come off, you'll get Watkins. But I think Villa, because they've just sold their women's team to satisfy PSR concerns, will be really bullish and hold out for 60 million plus. Now, what would be mad for me is if we can't agree a fee around 70 for Gyökeres or Sesko, so we go and give Villa 70 for Watkins. That would just be an absolute madness for me. But you know what? I've seen crazier things at Arsenal. So Ollie Watkins, Sesko, Gyökeres, put them in a 1-2-3 of what you want at Arsenal, bro.
What I actually want from a striker generally would be Sesko. Gyökeres first, because I just win now mode. What I see is what I kind of get. So Gyökeres first. I just want to take a gamble. Gyökeres first, Sesko second, Ollie Watkins third. But I do think people sleep on Ollie Watkins. I know because we've been aggressively linked with Sesko, and Gyökeres' numbers are too hard to ignore. He's not going to quite get that clout. And I know for us, if we go and sign Watkins, because of the failed pursuit of the others, we all know the talking points that will follow. But I mean, the man's Premier League proven. He was an Arsenal fan. He still is 29. I think there's a lot Watkins could offer, man. But to be honest, I think all three can improve us. But if we're talking with now mode, then I'll probably lean towards Gyökeres. Like I really like the look of Gyökeres. He scores goals for fun. I think he's every player's got cons in it, but I think he'll score goals for fun. I think he works the channels, can score pens, can score free kicks. Very intelligent footballer. I know people talk about his headers. I still think there's a bit of rawness to Sesko's game, but I do like what he could become. But those would be my first two. Gyökeres purely because he's 27. There's no need for development and what you can be. Like, not that you ain't got to improve and whatnot, but you're ready right now.
Yeah, do you know what?
Right now, ready.
The reason I'm with you about right now, which is why I'm actually putting Watkins ahead of Sesko. And as much as Sesko is going to be better than Watkins in a few years' time, Watkins is going to guarantee at least 15 goals in the Premier League, right? So I'll take that. I don't know that Sesko is guaranteed that. Gyökeres, I think, is probably guaranteed more than 15 because I just believe he's a bagsman. So I'm going to say that I think he guarantees at least 20. That's why Gyökeres is 1. Watkins is 2. Sesko, I have my doubts. He's not Premier League proven. He hasn't really done it in Bundesliga. Obviously, he's got something because there's potential there, but I don't really want to be signing potential, bruv. I want to be signing who's ready now. And I think Gyökeres and Watkins are more ready now than Sesko is. So that's why I'd say that. I happen to think Watkins would only leave if it's Arsenal. I think he'll stay at Villa because why would you go anywhere else really at the moment unless it's a City or Liverpool? Like, why would you go to Manchester United and be the striker there to take a risk when actually Villa are looking in a better position at the moment as a club than Manchester United? So I think he might stay at Villa unless it's Arsenal because he loves Arsenal. And he's made that clear one day he wants to play for Arsenal. So I don't know, man. I hope it's Gyökeres.
He can play off the left as well. Havertz can play through the middle in Arteta's mind. Where Watkins is
yeah, and you know what? The Havertz thing is a good shout because Arteta don't want to just forget about him. Trust me. And you know what? If we do get a position like Gyökeres, would not surprise me if Havertz is coming on the last 60, not up front. He's coming on in midfield. It would not surprise me at all. And I don't like that, DG. I don't like that at all, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to see Havertz back here. I don't want to see Havertz in midfield. My hot take is I do think he'll. Well, I mean, we'll get into Eze and Rodrygo if they sign their options in the 10, and obviously you got Wanyeri. But I actually feel we're going to see more of Kai in midfield. I don't know why. I just have the funny feeling you're going to see a lot of him in midfield next year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you. And I would rather see Kai Havertz coming off the bench in the number 9 alongside Gyökeres, or even instead of him, if it has to be to give Gyökeres a break because we need that. I don't want to see him in the 10 or the 8. And I feel like we're going to, if I'm honest with you. So we'll see what happens there. Let's move, like you said, to Eze because that's a player that you and I know like. Ben Jacobs on the Highbury squad yesterday said the following. Eze is keen on a move to Arsenal. There's a clause, 68, all in. If Arsenal make an approach, and I think there's a realistic chance they do bid, the likelihood is they'll go a little bit lower or offer a different kind of structure. The clause is payable in installments, but it's relatively difficult because some of the money goes to the player and some goes to Palace and some of his former club. The interest becomes concrete about 10 days ago. Arsenal was serious about Eze, and I'm expecting a bid. I'm expecting that bid to be below the release clause. I'm expecting that bid to be within the next 2 weeks. In that meeting at the weekend, there were senior football people from Arsenal pitching to the Eze camp. This was not just, we like you, we might go for you. This was a discussion about numbers. So what that means there, in my opinion, is we like Eze. We're going to test the waters to see if he wants to come. His camp have said he wants to come. Now it's going to be about how close to that release clause we get or if we actually just pay it all off. Now, the 3 installments, I didn't realize the installments were going to 3 places. Club, player, and a previous club. That just sounds very, very confusing to me. So, look, I think we're going to have to pay the full release clause. Why would Palace want less? It might be that Eze pushes for a move and says, look, just let me go. It's 60, it's 8 million, let me go. And Arsenal will definitely be one of those clubs to do that because we love installments and we love lower prices. How likely is this one to happen and how excited would you be with Eze, bruv?
Likely, I'm not sure, man, because I can't see us spending, like giving them the release clause. I think we're going to want to negotiate a deal in favorable terms so that, money is delivered into their accounts whenever, whether Crystal Palace are willing to do that. How much Eze can force that move, I'm not sure. So it's a difficult one, but it's like with Rodrygo, if you want these players, it's difficult to get them. You're going to have to pay big outlays. You're going to have to pay them big wages or relative big wages. But if you want to sit at the big boy table and have big players, get it done. It seems like there's a willingness to get the deal done. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He would make sense. He actually could deputize for Saka off the right. He can play as a false nine, could play in the 10, play off the 8, be great off the left. I don't know, man. Because of the rumors in the last couple of days, I'm more bullish about it than I thought. But I just can't see it. Like, you're not gonna have to forgive me. I just can't see. I just can't. Maybe Arsenal have battered and bruised me, but I can entertain the conversations about Rodrygo, Eze, and all of these players, but I just can't realistically see it until I see something different. He'd be a fantastic player to have, man. He'd be a fantastic player to have, but I can't see it. I think we need it. And again, like we did hear that Eze is at the pursuit of Eze, better yet, is irrelevant from us wanting a striker and a left winger. So we want that anyways. If worse comes to worse, Eze can play left wing. Maybe that gives you the ability to pivot and find some other players in other areas. I don't know, but I can't believe it, man. I'll believe it when I see it. Eze, I'll believe it when I see it. Same with Gyökeres and Rodrygo and all these guys. The only one I've got some realistic, like bullish about is I can just see I can just see us signing Sesko, if that makes sense. I can just see that.
Yeah, I've got to be with you and say that I'm one, believe it when I see it. 2, Eze, I don't see why it can't get done. Player would like to come. He's obviously an Arsenal boy. He was with us till 12 years old before he got released. I think he likes the fact of coming to Arsenal. The problem I've got is Arsenal never make things easy. Now, things might change a little bit under Andrea Berta, but 68 million, it's not like we've got to try and find 168 million. And it's across three installments. Like, this should not be a difficult deal to do. And I don't think it's overpriced for a Premier League proven player at 27 who can play a number of positions and actually give us some versatility, but also some strength in depth. I think he can play in the attacking 8, the 10, left, and even right. I think Eze would be a perfect signing for Arsenal. I really do. And I hope it happens, bro. What I will say is that we might have to go and be serious about where else we're spending our money. They're saying, David Ornstein has said it, that we want a left winger on top of Eze and a striker. So he's the one that everyone says is the best. Let's hope that we can believe that. Now, obviously, the left winger that we all want and dream about, of course, is Rodrygo. And there's suggestions yesterday that he could be open to leaving Real Madrid. According to reports, Real Madrid are open to Rodrygo leaving the club this summer, and they will not stand in his way if a suitable offer is made. Arsenal are one of the clubs monitoring Rodrygo and have held preliminary talks with the players and representatives in recent weeks. This is the dream signing for me. This is the marquee signing. I think Gyökeres would be unbelievable, DG. But I will say that this is the one that would make me go, wow, Arsenal have now got their final marquee signing from Real Madrid. And this would remind me of an Ozil and Sanchez type signing. I don't think Arteta's got there yet, man. What's the likelihood of this one? Do you think he would want to leave Real Madrid? And if so, why?
It depends on what he wants. I think they'd have to break his heart, man, because I feel they'd have to make Real Madrid, either Real Madrid or Xabi Alonso, would have to make it abundantly clear that you either completely don't feature in my plans or you do, but not to the extent that you believe in it. You're not going to play that much football, to which I still think there's a little bit about Rodrygo thinking, do you know what? I'm going to kind of prove the manager wrong. I do think Arsenal could pitch a good case to him. I'm sure we could find the finances. The problem is everyone and their dog in Europe will at least try to entertain conversations with him. So we're hoping that maybe we've done a bit of the groundwork. Maybe he's seeing playing against us what we're about. You know, he can obviously tap into his Brazilian buddies at Arsenal for some sort of help. Left wing, it seems like it's screaming out for you. I would say as what's a bit different from Eze and Eze and Gyökeres is that he's got more years in the tank. I don't even know if we'll get Eze and Gyökeres purely because they're both 27 now. That is not 97 to me, but we know how our club operates. I think too many dominoes need to fall, and it's one which every day it's kind of provided a new perspective. And are we really going to know anything about Rodrygo until after the Club World Cup? Are we really going to move for Rodrygo until we've got some outgoings or at least confirm the signings of the players we've spoken about today? I'm not sure, man. It would take a lot. I'd love it to happen, but I can't say I'll hold my breath for that.
I think it will show we're serious. I think a lot of the rivals around us will go, wow, what a signing. I think there would be a proper kind of understanding that Arsenal are serious, and Liverpool and City might look at Arsenal in a different light and say, wow, Rodrygo, didn't expect that, expected it to be Madueke. So I think that's where we've got to be. Now, obviously, reports are also suggesting from Rodrygo that the coaching staff at Arsenal really admire Rodrygo, and they believe that he could be an option on the left or the right of attack. And he's featured in discussions internally since the latter part of the season. There's no denying that Arsenal are very interested in him. And I think that what we've got to do now is make that clear that he's the guy that we want. But what's quite interesting is, alongside this, Sami Mokbel has said that BBC Sport understand that Arsenal will be looking to sell one of their most established first-team players inside the next 12 months. Gabriel Martinelli has been extensively linked with a move away this summer, and it's understood that that isn't something the club are ruling out. There are understood to be several clubs in Germany keeping an eye on Kai Havertz's situation heading into the summer when he will have 2 years left on his contract. Now, I think these two players could be the casualties. And for me, Kai Havertz would be one that I would sell. I'm happy for him to be a squad player, but I'd rather him go than Martinelli. Having said that, if there's a crazy, crazy offer for Martinelli, I would be looking to be tempted if that means that we could bring in somebody like a Rodrygo, for example. Now, there's also a lot of reports and suggestions that there's going to be a bid from Saudi Arabia for Martinelli. It looks like Al Nassr are weighing up an 85 million euro bid, but Arsenal also don't really want to sell the player. Sources have confirmed. However, Arsenal could be persuaded. That's come from Ben Jacobs. Now, I don't know if your thoughts are the same as mine, that Martinelli would be the squad player if Rodrygo comes in and Trossard might be the one to go. If we do get a bid from Al Nassr and they put in 85 million, I think that's our minds made up, bro. I think we've got to accept that and bring in Rodrygo with that money. What are you saying, bro?
I think you said it there. I think naturally, in terms of longevity, Trossard's probably the one to go. You simultaneously hear rumors with Martinelli, obviously signing a new deal. I'm not too sure how much he figures in the plans of Saudi or Bayern Munich or Barcelona or half the teams that he's been linked with, because he's linked with these teams, yeah. But it's like he's never their first choice. Like Luis Diaz seems to be the name. I mean, 85 million for Martinelli, you have to accept it. But then you're reliant on him actually wanting to go to Saudi with his age and obviously, being a South with a World Cup to come. I think Trossard would be the casualty purely because he's older and whatnot. I would probably let Martinelli go. I can't see him leaving though. I can't see it. But I do think in the next 12 or so months, the Martinellis, the Kai Havertzes, Gabriel Jesus, maybe hot take. And I know it's a bit different because he's the captain, but owing to his form, Martin Odegaard, there's going to have to be decisions to be made. Obviously, it's a bit different from with Tomiyasu, who's been injured, but is that an insight into how we're starting to move ruthless? Maybe not even in a nasty way, maybe not positively or negatively. We're just, Ivy, are you doing the job or not? Are you stagnating? Are you injury prone? Are you reliable? And you can't go around it. The wages. Martinelli's on big wages. He's got at least 2 years or something left on his deal, plus an option. Obviously, age isn't kind to Trossard. In an ideal world, you want to actually hold on to both of them. If we were to get your Rodrygos, your Ezes, your Yokerezes, and you've got the options, as you said, of Kai Havertz off the bench, with Marino up front, with Martinelli as a speed demon against tired legs, the possibilities are endless. I can't see Martinelli leaving this window, but as you said, interest from Saudi, you got a decision to make, but is he going to want to go? You get paid a lot. Is the league competitive? Will that kill your chances of getting called up to the Brazilian squad? I know Brazilian players have been called up playing in the Saudi league, but is that applicable to you? If we do bring him Rodrygo, and it's a big if, do you think you can compete for a spot with him? I don't know.
Look, man, I've got to be real. The money comes in, I think we're accepting it. I'll just bring up what
80 million. You can't say no.
Well, I mean, my question to you was going to be, what's the bare minimum you'd accept? 40, 50, 60, 70? Like, where were we at? But Ben Jacobs is saying, I have no information at this stage whether Gabby wants to go to Saudi. All I can say is that an approach to the pitch, the project to Martinelli happened in January, so he's been aware of the Saudi interest for at least 6 months. From Arsenal's point of view, it's a hypothetical. It's not something that has any substance yet. From Martinelli's perspective, he's aware something may be forthcoming. And from Al Nasser's perspective, they're simply lining up their budget. So let me ask you again, what would you accept, bro?
I mean, that 660, 70, 80 would be amazing. I know you can caveat that with, I do believe to a degree, Martinelli leaves Arsenal and I think he gets a bit of revitalization. I think he'd be better at a team that's more killing on the transition, like Liverpool typically, because that seems to be his bread and butter. But then if I look at it, I know Saudi money is crazy money, but European teams, Martinelli, you're 24. It's a long way away from what you used to be a few years ago. Yeah, if we sign you and you hear it off, great, but you're 24. You've been struggling, even in your best season, which might have been a purple patch. They tried to sign Mudryk. You're on big wages. Really and truly, are you going to be giving 60, 70 million when he's on 190? Probably have to deal around 40, in which people rightly so would say there's lesser player or players that aren't as big as Martinelli in the game going for more. I think we'd be lucky to get a legit £40 million bid. But I think Arsenal only accept for those crazy bids. And are we really going to sell him, at least for the talk about Eze and Rodrygo and this attacker and that attacker? Are we going to sell him or commit to selling him until someone's come through the door? Because whether I like it or you like it, he's been a key player. He's been over the past 3 years. He's been one of the most used players. So it's a lot to consider, man. But we need to upgrade on that left-hand side without a doubt, Dan, man.
We do. We really do, bro. And look, I think that there could be some movement. If they do come in with a bid and it's upwards of 50 or 60, Arsenal, I think, will go back and say, give us 70 and it's a deal. And I think that could get done. And that's Eze money. And that's more money towards Rodrygo. The 11 shirts available for him. He's on 180 a week, Martinelli. You could put Rodrygo on 250 quite easily and still be in a good position. So I actually think that we could be in a good position there. Havertz, if I'm honest, if there's serious sources in Germany that want him, I think we should consider it.
But who are these several clubs then? Because Bayern's probably one. Maybe his old club Leverkusen. Several?
I don't know, man. And how many would he be interested in? Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and Leverkusen, maybe. But is Leverkusen seen to him as a sideways or downward step? Probably. Obviously, Dortmund and Bayern have been fantastic in Champions Leagues and have been phenomenal in the last decades now. But I'm looking at the scenario of Havertz, thinking which one of those two clubs is putting him on 290 a week and is paying us 50 or 60 million. I don't see it.
I get nowhere near that.
You know, I think Saudi are more likely to get Havertz than Germany, if I'm honest with you. So that could be an interesting one. I think if anyone, it's going to be Martinelli. The last thing I want to do before we close, bro, is to talk about, yet again, another link in and another link out. Now, there's rumors that Zinchenko is one that we're looking to leave. Obviously, Mosquera is being linked as well. But apparently, according to reports, Mosquera is expected to sign, and a fullback could well be considered also if Zinchenko is as expected to leave. Now, there's lots of links, or has been lots of links in relation to Yoel Harto from Ajax. I actually think if there's anyone that kind of come on top of Mosquera at the back, it will be him. And I don't know if that means that Kivior goes alongside Zinchenko, or actually if Arteta's looking at Lewis-Skelly and thinking that he's not just a left back, he can do his job in midfield, box to box, and that Calafiori and Harto could then be left backs as well long term. So what's your making of this, bruv?
I'd be all for another. I want Hato. Me and you have spoken about him before.
Yeah.
I want Hato. I was telling I had a guy on my platform this week, and I said my hot take is I think we need another left back. Whether that's, I know we're not going to get a Kieran Tierney sort. You have to be able to invert, but maybe someone that can overlap just to give us something a bit different. I think in terms of bodies, because Miles Lewis-Skelly's made that spot his own, and we pray he keeps getting better and better. But unfortunately, you can lose form, you can get injured, you can get suspended. To which you've got Calafiori, who some people say he's not a left back, he's a centre half, which rightly so. But you're going to have to deputise. We've not been able to bet on his fitness. We know Zinchenko's probably gone, Tomiyasu's now gone, Tierney's gone. We get a couple of injuries, you're forcing Timber to play left back. So I'm all for that. With Jarell Hato, though, I just wonder, does it make sense for you to move? I'm sure you could talk to Timber. I think last season showed that everybody could get game time. There's enough games for us to utilize our squad. But you're 19. You've captained Ajax on occasions. You've played 100 odd times for Ajax. You spent a year playing centre half and left back. I don't want to disrespect Ajax because you can't. They're one of the biggest teams historically in Europe. But the pressure there's obviously pressure, but the pressure there compared to if you move to the Premier League or somewhere else, you're in the spotlight. And you're 19. The move will come, whether that's Arsenal, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, any team that's been linked with you, they will come. And you've got stability. Now, as you know, Dan, yourself, moving to a club in a World Cup year, that can either enhance your chances of getting in that World Cup spot, or that could decrease it. And on paper right now, obviously we know as the season plays out, it's a different thing. But you've got Saliba and Gabriel ahead of you. Left back is Miles Lewis-Skelly. I don't know, for as much as I think you're talented, are you ahead of Calafiori in the pecking order? If push comes to shove with Mikel Arteta, if it was a must-win game, is he more likely to play you, or do he move Timber to left back and bring in Benjamin White if that's the case? I'm on it. I think we need to really just well stock every areas. And based on reports, and it's a long way away from it actually getting done, but it does feel like, and again, they have to do it. This might be the window, whether I like these players or not. We've actually addressed every area that needs to address. We know we need a goalie. You've gone and got that. Centre mid additions, that. Left wing, you've got that. Up front, you've got that. So on and so forth. But for all the talk we've been doing in this 50 odd minutes, unless I'm new to something, we haven't announced anything.
We haven't announced anything other than Kepa. So that's the goalkeepers. Raya and Kepa. Let me tell you why I want Harto and Mosquera. Ben White and Timber would become our right backs. Left backs would be Harto and Lewis-Skelly. Left-sided centre-back would be Gabriel and Calafiori. And the right-sided centre-backs would be Saliba and Mosquera. You've basically covered all positions twice. And that, for me, is what we need to do, like Liverpool.
Couple man that can mix and blend
as well. So for me, there's 8 defenders there that are all good enough for Arsenal. They're all going to be putting in competition with each other, some of which have versatility. You've still got Kivior, as mentioned in the chat as well. But I just believe that we'll find out last minute. But I do think he's going to go. And I do think he's probably going to go and get first-team football in Italy somewhere. So I think now we need to forget about Kivior potentially. As much as I like him to stay, I think he's probably going to go, which is why we've been linked with Harto and Zinchenko going, Tierney going, Tomiyasu and Kivior. You're going to be bringing in at least 2 centre-backs for that. So that's what I think we should be doing, man. Harto and Mosquera. Look, man, it's mad. It's gone so quick. So let's do some super chats and let's get out of here. We'll send everybody over to your show. Abdullah says, I think Eze and Madueke permanently solves our depth issue with Saka and Ødegaard. Eze, Wanyeri, Madueke can cover both. When everyone's fit, Eze will push Gabby in the left wing. And I definitely love Rodrygo's upgrade on Gabby Martinelli. Look, we all want Rodrygo. We appreciate that Madueke's coming in as cover, but I'm just not sure that he's better than Ethan. And for me, I'd rather see Ethan.
Ethan minutes.
100%. Next comes in from Nick, who says Arteta wants Nicholas Jackson this summer. That's obviously a joke. I do not believe that's true. I think that was a hell of a joke. Gone very, very quiet since. So hopefully that was just a nasty rumor. And Lee says, big up, man. Dem. Don't know if you remember when Gyökeres won the league over there in Portugal. The girlfriend and her family were saying they'll do everything to keep him there. The breakup could be legit. Yeah, do you know what? As much as that was like a thing that I just rolled my eyes at, there was a lot of suggestions that the family did not want him to leave Portugal. And it looks like he's made his mind up for career
He wants
only.
to live his own life.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Look, DG, it's a pleasure, man. Always talking to you. Let's get you out of here so you're not too late for your show.
Always.
Stay where you are, people. I'm going to redirect you to DG. It's DG and Graham Brooks. You do not want to miss that one. Trust me. So these two are going to be talking all things Arsenal. And love for the love, man. What else you got coming up, bro?
Like you said, I'm with Graham until whenever, and then 5 p.m. I've got Kenny Ken, and then other than that, we're chilling, man. Appreciate the chat, appreciate Dan as usual. It's been a pleasure, man. Hopefully the next time we chat next week, we've actually got some concrete players through the door. Hopefully a striker, probably Zubimenti. Big up the chat.
Yeah, it will be. Now, big up to you, man. I much appreciate it. And look, I'm back at 4 people. I'm not going to tell you who's on the panel. I'm going to make it a nice surprise. Trust me. You do not want to miss this one. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you get Match Bingo downloaded. QR code on the screen now. That's for the game tonight. Good luck with it. If you win, let me know. Let me know who you support so I can add it to the leaderboard. And we're out of here, people. Stay where you're tuned. We're going over to DG's channel with him and Graham. Layers.
Big up.